What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. We got Albert in the house. Good morning to you, Anna, Ben, Bill. Good morning to Cheryl, Cindy, Corey, Frank. We got Jay. Good morning to you, Kevin, Lauren, Martina, Matthew, Mike. We got Mike is Squatters in the house. We got Peter. Good morning to you. We got Shane, Tim. Wendy's in the house. I'm sure Wendy's not even going to ask about SMCI. I'm pretty positive. Pretty positive. We'll see. We'll see. But all my people out in YouTube land. We got Richard Jet. Richard, I feel like I haven't seen you in a minute. What's going on, Richard? How you been? All my other lurkers that are just kind of sitting there quiet on YouTube land. That's okay. I still love you. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. But we're back to earnings. We're back to earnings. We got, I think, past a little bit until the next global chaos, but Japan's still kind of bouncing a little bit. So the market's hanging out and we're just essentially waiting. But yesterday's candle, interesting. Interesting candle for the SPY. Most of the day we were in the higher range. We just kept kind of going bullish until the market snapped a little bit. We pulled back. We rejected the 100. It's not a good looking candle. Hitting that 100, rejecting it. You got that wick. You got some selling coming in. Oh, Wendy's got puts on SMCI. All right. That's not a great candle. However, we did not ever break this this low, which people still kind of using as like, all right, maybe we got low enough. We got to take advantage of some companies, some buy the dippers for right now. There again, I don't think a lot of that was even buy the dippers. I think you had a lot of people profitable, just kind of locking in gains. Maybe they're still there. Let's do a few things. One, we know we have to get above that 100. I think to help continue the rally. I don't even think that really confirms it. That we're probably heading back up. I think yesterday's candle becomes a new if this candle breaks situation, but really I would have probably about 517, 516.79. For today, though, we got a little support at 526.13. The resistance that I'm really looking to beat is 531.54. We never really touched that one yesterday. But if we can start getting some closes above it, I think that looks fantastic. Where at least we're coming back into this 539.08 or I have 538.88 zone. So somewhere into that would be kind of my next resistance. You got a couple more moving averages, but it looks like we would be holding a little bit. The other thing I want to do on this one, I'm not sure if we did this yesterday or not, but let's throw a fib just to see where we landed yesterday. That was only a 38% retracement. So we still have 532.58, and then 618 puts us right at 537.86. So those are the key zones where it's like, okay, maybe the bears aren't as strong, especially if we get a close anywhere above that 618. Maybe the bears are at least not as strong. Doesn't mean we can't come back, retest one more time, and then pop up something to the extent of doing this. Okay, great. And it's probably not going to be a straight line. We'll get some candles in here first. Then we pull back, and then we come in for this higher low. That could be on the table. We'll have to see where we are economy-wise at this point, how much we're talking about stimulus checks, and which is, to me, just bizarre, but how much we're going to be talking about stimulus checks as opposed to, okay, rate cuts. Rate cuts are coming. I think we'll have them regardless, but rate cuts are coming, and why? we need that big question answered. Is it because the economy is close to shambles, or is it because it's just natural and we have inflation coming down and everything's looking okay? That's the big question we still have to answer. But for right now, global markets seem like they're trying to just hold and not actually collapse how it looked on the weekend. So we'll see. But we are just kind of in some retests. Again, if we start losing this VPOC here, we still have that 200 to kind of save us, maybe get some tiny bounce. If you're looking for puts protection, I don't know if Jackie's here today, but she was asking about protection. At the 100, it's an interesting spot if you're trying to buy some puts. We get back up there. We're pretty much there at open. I don't know if I would do it there. I would see if we could at least break down this 526.35 first. If we get a couple candles to close, then I think we get a little bit more free fall. Otherwise, I think if we get this like 531.50 zone, that's your first spot where, all right, you know what? I don't have any protection on the table. I'm waiting. I want to try to get into something. That's where I'd be looking to buy my first kind of set of puts. And then after that, I'd be looking for can we get to this 539 zone? So if we can get up there, that would be the second spot I'd be looking. And then we start breaking above that. I would even hedge some of those puts and get some shorter term calls, something like that. If we do want to come up and test this 550 zone or something like that, but that would be a big zone if we start breaking through 550.47. For the most part, I think I think all the buy the dippers here get rewarded pretty decently. So right now we're still below that 100. We're gonna hang out on the SPY for the moment. We do have a little bit of a tight range, but we got two levels where pretty close to support and resistance not too far away as well. Q's similar story. Q's we survived the 200, so we're still hanging on to that. Obviously, I think this candle right here is still the big one. I would say if even if we start breaking this 435.85, that's kind of the level of like, yeah, we'll probably come down lower, but confirmation would be probably 424.49. Obviously breaking that little candle again, and we're back past that 200. We're back past where the bulls came in, tried to save it, or at least shorts tried to clear some positions. Resistance for today, 447.92. If we can get above it, 457.40. Otherwise, I'm looking for some kind of support. So very tight range right now, at least. But support should be 443.05 if we do come back down. If that breaks, big key level for me, 435.85, and we should have that 200 as additional support as well. All right, we got some tickers. We'll see what Peter's got a couple, Sydney's got a couple as well. Let's go to Cat CHC. And Cat, and if you guys got other tickers you want to take a look at, let me know. Caterpillar's interesting. So it is still inside day. Did they have earnings? So yeah, they had earnings. They beat by 7%, 7.72% earnings per share by 42 cents. The revenue side, they did miss. I'm not sure where guidance came in at, but not a big move. So if somebody was buying calls or puts on Caterpillar, it's probably gonna lose a lot of value today. I would say if you sold them, you're probably making some money. So not a huge breakout in either direction, but it did stay bullish. When I say it's interesting, I like the location. So if as long as the bell could ring and we stay above this 331.01, I think that should be good enough at least to get to the next level. Unfortunately, next level is right here, 332.14. So we would have to get through that, and then I think the next target in a bull direction would be 336.52. Almost want to give this one a minute. See if this one comes in some kind of high wave candle at open, with the top of that candle being somewhere in the range of this 331.95. Take the breakout, and then you're looking for that $5 move from there. Otherwise, if we don't open at this location, we open slightly below it. At minimum, I'm looking for 329.13 as some kind of support. If that starts to break, we should have big support. Pretty much at the daily close from yesterday, so somewhere around 326.70. We also got some associated levels of volume right there as well. So hopefully that volume holds, but wouldn't really want to see us even get down there. Kind of want to see us hold at this 328.94 if we are going to pull back at all. But that might be an interesting one if we get a high wave out of the gate. We have a little bit of room before some of those even moving averages come in. We'll get Caterpillar on that list. AVGO. Oh yeah, we got Airbnb today too. Harold's reminding me we got Airbnb. AVGO. It is a gap up. We're still inside day. The fact that we're able to get above this 146.29, that's good, but we do have resistance right above us. So I think we're in a little bit of a tighter range on this one. Again, we're still kind of playing off that massive sell-off right at that 200. So I don't know if today, and that was a decent amount of obviously buying, I guess. Uh, on Broadcom, when's their earnings? Do they have earnings? Yeah, so plenty of time till earnings. September 5th, just under a month. Big zone on this one is 148.04. If it could break that, you have a little bit more room to this 151.30. I don't know. I don't know how much it's going to move today. Seems like the range is a little bit tighter. And maybe the SMCI, so we'll go to the SMCI now. Maybe that would probably have some kind of effect on it, which the earnings the earnings I think weren't. Yeah, I guess they were. They missed earnings per share by $1.87. Oh, so yeah, they also did they put a what 10-to-1 split, I think. So they released that, but they missed earnings per share by 23%, so not great there. They missed by $8.29 million, so quite a bit of miss on the revenue portion of things. Not a great open. So a lot of these candles, we said, um, if that candle, or if we start breaking those candles, watch out. The other thing we noticed in the room yesterday too is this volume. So as we were just kind of talking about it prior to the earnings, I didn't want to take the calls on this one. It had some room on it, like if they beat and everything was crazy, and then they come out with a split or whatever the case. Okay, I think we opened somewhere on like a great possible day, somewhere around 885. Obviously, the numbers didn't match up with anything kind of really in the positive direction, looks like. So the next spot down, I think we have really no volume here. I would be looking for any kind of stops at 447. So the closer you can get to that, better risk reward if we bounce at all. But that's not a great gap, and I think we have plenty of room down to like 479. So maybe a little bit more pain on that one. And again, we just talked about AVGO. Some of that sector arena probably not as bullish today. Any of those companies that just have massive runs lately might get halted by this one. I'm not sure if AMD is feeling any pain or Nvidia. Didn't get to check those out. But we do have a lot of downside on this one. So SMCI, I'm going to put on my list to see if we go short somewhere. Was that also a gap and go from yesterday? Yeah, so we had a little high wave candle. This was more of the move. Let's see if we get a high wave candle, but I'd be willing to play it, rather play it to the downside than the higher side. All right, let's see what else we got. Shop came in with strong beat. Plus, I think they raised their guidance. I think they said they're doing about 20% growth. I don't have the earnings listed yet. Yep. So they came out this morning, but fairly good earnings. I believe it was a beat in both. I believe the revenue was in line. I don't think the revenue was too crazy, but they did beat earnings per share. And then they did also raise guidance, and everything looks decent. For day trade purpose, this is a retest gap. We are opening at a huge resistance. So I probably wouldn't go bullish on this one. I think some people might want to take some of these gains. And I think most likely, and again, we could come back down. I don't know if we come back all the way back down here for this gap. That would be crazy. One thing to watch for on this one, though, is if this doesn't happen. If we do not fill this gap today, or yeah, probably today, and we just kind of pull back a little, I think this zone right here, which is roughly 59.90, we'll call it 59.90. Somewhere in that zone should be the bounce spot. That's where I think we should hold. But as long as we don't come back down and fill this gap, that leaves us with a little island reversal, which is a pretty strong reversal signal. So going forward, it would look decent. So I think eventually we come back to this zone, 59.90, something like that. And then I think we look to get that bounce. It has the ability to do some pretty crazy bullish moves. We'll see. We do have this open gap fill all the way up at $77. So not bad. Not bad. Today at open though, I'd be cautious. And you do have the 200 coming in right there that you got to fight through. You have this huge volume zone. So I don't think I'd be going bullish on this one. I have some shares. So if it goes bullish, great. But for day trade purpose, this is probably a profit taking zone. And then I think we got to get down to this 59.90 for that next bounce. But as long as this doesn't close, we got that pretty strong island reversal. Let's see the candles with volume too at the bottom. Candles with volume. This one here, and that is a red candle too. So we're above all that clearly. The next one, this one is a pretty decent sell-off day, but not a lot of volume associated with it. And let me just scroll out one more time. Oops. Let me see we're right in that volume zone. If we do want to pop bullish, that would take us into, so if we can get above that volume area, then we have to the bullish side about 66.29, probably gets halted there for today at least. If we do somehow get above it. In these markets, who knows? Everything's wild, but and then that next spot takes us right into that 77.22 zone. So it's got some room on it. You got a almost little double bottom, even though this candle kind of sold off. We got a little bit into that retest, and now potential island reversal on Shopify. So we'll get this one higher. I think it's a little tougher to day trade for today, just being at the location it's opening. Airbnb, not great. Not great on Airbnb. Let me see. Earnings came in with a 4-cent miss, almost 5-cent miss. They missed by 5% earnings per share, and they did beat on the revenue side of things. Maybe some early warning signs with Marriott kind of coming in with some lower numbers as well. Shandan, did I say that correct? Shandan? Good afternoon to you. It's morning for me. Where are you at? Where do you live that is afternoon? Out of curiosity. But yeah, this is not great for Airbnb. It is a massive gap down. We're losing about $18 so far at open. We're also breaking some pivots. We got a lot of volume now above us. If we do want to play this as a retest gap, I'm not sure that I do. But that would take us to about 118.16. I think the path to Airbnb at this point is a little bit lower. You got to be watching. I think the last key level takes us to like 104.36. We are trapping a decent amount of bulls on this one. I would love to see it move higher. Let's put it like that. I don't know how much higher I want to see it. If we stop somewhere at let's call it 113, but 112.91, we start rejecting that. I think that's my first spot, but I do have a VPOC somewhere around almost 114. So we start getting into that 114 zone. That's probably where some bigger resistance starts coming in. But all that volume now is above us. We are below that. Target for today, I think, takes us to 109.77. And if that starts to break, I think we're taking the elevator down a little bit further. Not a great gap. We'll get this one up there too. So be not looking really to play this one bullish, not really looking to play that fade. If I'm taking it in any direction, it will be to the bear side today. NVO. And if we look at FDX, we can take a look at that one too. NVO. Barely hanging on. So this was an earnings miss as well. Missed by 5 pennies on this one. We missed by $16 million on the revenue side of things. I don't think this is bullish. But we do have a little tiny support right at the bottom of that candle right there. So that's not good. We do have this where we've already kind of relied. The one thing with that support, though, is 2 days ago on Monday, we kind of already came down. We were already retested it. And now it's not holding. That support's going to be a little bit weaker. We got that 200 coming in. So that would be my biggest concern, somewhere around this 121.52. But I don't know how bullish people are going to try to hold this thing at that 200 if we really start breaking down. And that would probably put targets into 119.80. So you still have a little bit of room, but with that 200, you have a few other levels in there that might give us a little chop. It is a pretty big gap down as well. So about $7 on a 130 stock. Not bad. But you got to watch that 200. Otherwise, I do like the pressure to the downside. Almost would rather have a bounce just because I'm seeing a lot of resistance. I don't know if we get the bounce, but maybe something into like the 123.50, somewhere around that zone. Maybe we could come up a little bit higher, 124.37, just to make the risk to reward a little bit better. Other than that, but then we got to face this zone again, where that would be our second bounce off of it. So I'd prefer short direction. I would love to see some kind of a bounce first, but even on that, I think it's going to be a little, for me at least, a little bit more challenging. Let's take a look at FTX real quick. For Diana, we got FTX gapping up a little bit. This looks like a few of the other ones we started the show with. So we still have inside day. We're at the higher end of yesterday's range. We are probably trapping some bears that kind of came in toward the end. This one has a little bit more range to go, which is not bad. The first spot would take us to about 290.85. Maybe we get up to this 291, 291.57. So that would be my final target for today. But I'd be considering taking a little bit off at 290.94 as well. So that's going to only give us really about, what, $2 to the higher side? If this one pulls back first, 288.44, we end up holding that level. That might be an interesting spot to start to go long. You get a little bit better risk reward, something like that. But it is still inside day. I would like to see a pullback, but not a huge one on it. MSFT. Then Microsoft back above the 200. How to do that? That's crazy. We struggled with that 200 yesterday. Maybe one of my favorite gaps today so far. I think. Where's this volume? All right, so we got volume on this candle. I think our targets. So the only reason I think it's one of my favorites, and I still want to see a little pullback, stall out somewhere, find support somewhere around 406.98. But now it is gapping above. You did have some bears kind of come in right at that 200, push it right back down. So there is some shorts in there for today. I would love to see us get a tiny pullback, 406.98. And then with the range, I don't know how tough it's going to be to do it today, how bullish this market wants to be, or at least stay. But that would take us to about 416.87. So in terms of range, at least, probably one of my favorite sneaky little gaps. All right, we'll get that one up there. It's got good range on it. We still have a lot to happen to get there. We'll probably get a little resistance somewhere around 412. But I think we could take it out. And then stretch targets on this one. I want to be holding this thing past like 419. So a little bit higher, but let me see. We got C. Did they report today? Oh, we're done with the banks. City. So done with the banks. Yeah, no earnings today. It was a green candle yesterday. We do have a little resistance on this one, 58.31. Probably comes back down, at least retest that 200. And I got a VPOC down here, so maybe we start to slip under that 200. We look for like 57.25 or yesterday's support 56.86. That 56.86 would be a great spot if it gets down there. Only problem again with getting down there is, well, now we're back below that 200. So this is a gap above that 200, which is nice. If it gives you any type of setup today, and we do actually want to run bullish without really any pullback, and we are trapping some bears, so maybe. I would even go high wave with this one, but I do want some kind of pullback. And then targets are like 58.90, so I'm not sure how much room we have on it. I think that would be a good rejection spot though. 58.90. You got some more bears coming in, pushing it back. So if we have, especially if we have not tested the 200 at that point. Square. I got a lot of lines on my chart for Square. Hold on. It's going to take 25 minutes to take the lines off. All right, there we go. Square. We've got some resistance from back here, but all of that's just been retested, pushed around. It is a little bit of gap and go. It's still inside day, so let's see if we can get a pullback on this one to 58.03. Otherwise, we do have decent range to $60. I kind of like it. It looks like another little sneaky gap. But on inside days, I do want to see that little tiny pullback. And then coming into like this 58.03 zone will be perfect. Snagging it off that. And 50, what would we say? 58.03 or something. So that would give us about $2 to the higher side. All right, I like that one. We'll watch that one as well. We got Upstart, UPST. Mm, let's see. Upstart. Yeah, Monster. I guess Monster beat. Yeah, 56% to the upside on earnings per share. And they did come in with $3 million beat to the lower side. In terms of volume, we don't really have too much here. I think the next spot takes us to $30.99. So that's still about 99 cents to the higher side. I'd want to see it kind of go a little bit more before I look for a short. Otherwise, we do have some resistance. Maybe it's enough to break through. I know they used to have a high short float. Do they still have high short float? UPST 32% short float. Somebody tell me that's a lie. Somebody tell me those are the wrong numbers. I watched them for the short squeeze. I want to go short. Any pullbacks, I would see if we could squeeze some of those shorts. But that is the morning bell. Unfortunately, I think I didn't get to like two. So not bad today. Not bad. But everybody on YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Appreciate you guys joining us each and every day.